Welcome to the Northeast Kingdom Voice. The Relay for Life is right around the corner. Today's guest is one of the organizers, Candy Lucas. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So, the Relay for Life has become a really big event in this area.
It has.
Have you been with it since the beginning?
I have not. No, I've been with it on the committee. This is my third year.
Right.
And I have been involved with it on and off for 7 years.
Right. So how come you became involved? Are you a cancer survivor?
I am not. I have lots of cancer that runs in my family. But I decided that I might as well help out and do something for a great cause that I am near and dear to. So.
Right. And when is this event?
It is June 29th and 30th at the high school on the track.
Do you know that even though I have had people on my different shows about this, I have never been to the Relay for Life. It always seemed to coincide when I was out of town.
Yeah.
But I understand I don't have a choice this year.
You don't have a choice this year because you get to be our guest speaker.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm pretty honored. When I was asked, apparently I beat out Ellen DeGeneres.
You did?
Well, I think it was because Ellen wouldn't come. But so
she's a little busy.
Yeah, something like that. And also the producer of this show, Todd Peranto, who's actually going to be joining us later, he has a long history with your group. Now,
Yes.
Did you work with Todd at all?
I have the past couple of years.
Right. So this event, you go all night long.
Yes, because cancer never sleeps, so
Right.
neither do we.
Right. Are you the only one in your family who does it, or do you have other family members?
Up here, yes, there are other relays in the state that I have family that participates in.
You know, you would think that I would have participated in it, even though I've donated time in other ways, such as this, because I can, like in my wife's family, I can click off so many people. It's like my mother-in-law, my 49-year-old brother-in-law, and just a few weeks ago, my father-in-law. They all died of cancer. Then if I take my biological side, I don't know if we had any that died, but we certainly have a fair number of people.
Yeah.
But I wonder if you start noticing more of it when you have a family member.
You do. It's kind of like when you go out and you buy this car that you've wanted for a long time, and all of a sudden you see everybody driving it. Once you are in that realm, you see everybody who has it, and it touches your heart.
Right. Well, and as I was telling you beforehand, just when we were burying my father-in-law, I got the phone call from one of your organizers, Sarah Elliott, and we were going through our own cancer scare. My wife had to have a biopsy, and we were on pins and needles, so I actually jumped at the opportunity to be your speaker, and thankfully, the biopsy came back fine, but for like 2 weeks, I kind of got a taste of what a person with cancer, or at least their loved one, goes through, and that's not a good feeling.
The wait time is the worst.
Right.
It really is the worst, but it's fantastic that it came back good.
Right. Right, and just sitting around and waiting. I'm an instantaneous type of guy. I want to know. I can deal with anything as long as I know. And how many people did the relay start with several years ago?
Not as many as we have today. I don't know the actual numbers, but I know our goal for this year is $128,000.
Right.
Last year we were at 125, so we want to beat that a little bit. We have 44 teams already signed up. Our goal is to have 50.
Right.
And our participants, we're way over 400, and our goal was 400. Right. So as far as participants go, we like to be in the 400 range. If we go over 500, then that's fabulous.
I think it helped to having Todd and Devaney in the early years. Todd and Devaney are the defrocked morning show hosts on Moo.
Yeah.
They really
lot.
got the word out because while everybody else worked so hard, they had the forum to tell
Right.
the world about it. But do you think without them at Moo, do you think you've still been able to keep that momentum going?
It's looking like we are able to with our Facebook page and everything else that we're doing. But hopefully that it's not going to really affect it a whole lot. I know I definitely miss them on the radio, and I definitely miss, all the little plugs that they have in there all the time. Because usually this time of year, that's all we heard was Relay for Life, Relay for Life.
Have you started reaching out to the media a bit? Like, I know you're here now. Have you gone to the newspapers, just giving them reminders?
I haven't.
Right.
I'm not sure who else on the team might be doing that.
Right. Yeah, because as you know, is you can have the greatest event there is, and if nobody knows about it,
Exactly.
it's the one thing I like about your event, because I've read about it, I've known Todd now for years, and Devaney, is it isn't always boring. Like,
No.
I hate, I hate to say it, with all respects to people who host walkathons. I'm not much into walkathons. They're just kind of like boring.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a lot of entertainment at your
Yes.
events.
Yep, we have a different theme each lap. We have some great ones coming up this year. We have Disney and Duct Tape and Redneck and Patriotic and all of them. And then, we have different activities going on each time. Really the key is that 2 o'clock in the morning, when you're really tired and you want to go to sleep, you want something to give you a little nudge. So we like to keep it nice and busy and going. And our entertainment up in the Bird's Nest is definitely really good. They play some good music and get our participants involved.
Are these live entertainers or just your music?
We have some live, and then we have Todd and Devaney running all of the sound.
Oh, so Todd and Devaney's going to be back this year.
Oh yeah.
So they haven't just disappeared.
No.
From the.
No. Devaney's going to make the trek up here, so
Yeah,
you're going to join us.
I was down in Devaney's listening area down in New Hampshire when my mother was at Dartmouth. I'm in the getting something to eat, and all of a sudden I heard a familiar
radio.
voice,
Yep.
and it was Devaney on the radio. It was kind of nice to hear her return.
Yep.
So,
I did the same thing. I was headed down to Virginia, and I headed through, and I was like, oh, hey, I was telling my kids, this is Devaney. She was up here in the radio, and she's not anymore.
So you must have been really wowed when you walked into the studio and got to see Todd once again, but in person.
Yeah.
So, but there's also a solemn part of your event, isn't
Yes.
there? Isn't there something to do with remembrance?
There is the luminarias. So we have a luminaria lap. We light everything up about 9 o'clock, about 8:45. We light everything up, and then 9 o'clock starts the lap of silence, where they read all of the names of all of the cancer survivors and all of those who lost their battle. Right. It's definitely an event that gives you a celebration of life from great highs all the way to great lows, from remembering the people that we love so much that we lost.
Right. Do you have, if viewers want to take part in it, but they say, well, geez, I don't want to do it all night long.
Right.
Do you have to do it all night?
Do not have to do it all night. No, we are in need of volunteers.
Right.
And you can volunteer for just an hour. You can volunteer for the entire time if you want to. And it ranges from stocking toilet paper in the porta potties to helping us, get papers around, notify people, to lighting candles and what have you. We have a little something for everybody. From my 4-year-old is going to be with us. She's going to help out, and then all the way up into your 90s if you want.
Do you bring your tents too if you want to take a nap?
Yes.
Right.
We have our own campsites, and they're all decorated. For the theme this year is Heroes of Hope, and so everybody's going to be able to portray their own hero in their tent sites.
Right. So I don't know about Todd. Whose hero do you think Todd might? Maybe Toby Keith.
Maybe.
Because he's a country and western guy.
I'd like to be sentimental and say his mom, but
that's true too. Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, it could definitely. Toby Keith is pretty outspoken.
Yeah, he is. So maybe he'll have You know, part of the night, his mother. Part of the night, Toby Keith.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he is a big country and western guy who's tried to go down to Nashville to make it big. He might even, you know, I don't know, he's buddies with Wayne Warner, too. So,
Yep.
so he could be Wayne Warner the rest of the night.
Yeah, he could be.
So, so do you stay on the move all night? Like, are you walking the whole time?
I am. You can, what the goal is to have at least one person from each team on the track all night long. And the reason, again, that we do that is because cancer never sleeps, so neither do we. So we always at least have one person from each team on the track. And then, you know, you can go off and take a nap, or if you have high energy and want to keep going, you can keep going. Everybody's allowed to get on site at noon to start setting up their campsites and everything. And then we have basically it's kind of like a birthday bash for the survivors at 4. And then we have the kickoff lap at 5.
And what time am I on? Because I don't want to show up late.
I don't really know. You should probably show up at 4.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And if I go too long, Todd will probably just flick the switch on the mic.
He might.
So
He might. But he's usually pretty good at that. So.
No, he is.
Yeah.
I know Devin, he used to have to flick the switch on him occasionally, but so are you looking for a big group this year though?
We are. We are looking for all of those fabulous people out there who are going to really make our event nice and exciting and memorable.
You know, I've been watching on Facebook, and what exactly is a team composed of? Because it seems like they're doing fundraising.
Oh yeah.
And so I see these teams forming on Facebook, and they seem to be doing different events. Like some of them contact me for free subscriptions to the journal to raffle off.
Yep.
And what are they exactly doing? How does this all take place?
Every team has their own fundraisers throughout, all the way up until relay. That way they can raise the money, you know, in fun ways, because lots of people, you go over and ask them, do you want to donate 20 bucks? They're like, eh. But if you do an event that they're going to get something out of it, it's 20 bucks, and everybody's there having fun, then you get to celebrate it and donate at the same time. And as far as, you know, that stuff goes, asking for subscriptions and what have you, we have on-site fundraisers, and we have a huge tent which is going to have basket raffles in it. And basket raffles, last year we had an iPad, we had a raised bed, and we had, I believe, a tree. We had, you know, so many things. So it's not necessarily a basket.
Right.
We like to think outside the box, and we have we raise tons of money for that. It's $1 a ticket, and we get to pick the winners at the end of the night, and it's really cool because we have 50 teams. Most team does 1 basket. Right. Some do more. You can do up to 2, and then so we're giving away like 50 big prizes at the end, you know, at midnight.
Do they have to be there?
They do not have to be there, and they don't have to be there to purchase the tickets. If you happen to go on the Facebook page and see a basket that you like, or if you know somebody and see a basket that you like, you can purchase that ticket from the person ahead of time. Right. Or you can just run in and purchase it and go if you don't have time to come.
So we keep talking about teams, and you know, if there's a viewer who they want to take part but they don't belong to a team, can you just go there as an individual, or do you have to belong to a team?
You can go and you can participate in everything. You won't be on a team if you just decide to show up, right. But you're more than welcome to show up and, you know, come see what it's all about. Take part in the ceremonies. We're gonna have, you know, there's a whole kids section, so the kids are gonna have fun, face painting and Plinko and a whole bunch of different activities. But if you really want to get involved, you can either start a team. We have plenty of mentors that would love to help out. And even if you're not sure about it, you can always go on. We have a list on the webpage of all the teams and all the participants. If you happen to see somebody on there that you know, you can join that team as well. Or even if you don't know them, if you're, you know, more than willing to do it, you can join a team.
So what do you have to do? If you join a team, what do you have to do as a member of that team?
Each team does it differently, but each member is asked to raise $100 at least. Obviously, we like to go way above and beyond. Yeah, as long as they, as they raise $100, which is pretty easy. I mean, we have scratch-off tickets that it's $100 for a card. So even my kids have them, and they go around different people. Would you like to donate? You can scratch off, and then whatever number pops up, $1, $5, or $10, you can donate. And then when the card's full, you have your $100.
So we currently have. Well, I think it's kind of nice. We for a long time we didn't have a cancer doctor in the area. We used to have to travel to Dartmouth or to Fletcher Allen, but currently we have 3 cancer doctors. We have 2 at North Country, then we have Dr. Les Lockridge. Do you know if they will be in attendance as well?
I know Dr. Lockridge will be there. And as far as the other 2, I'm not sure at this point.
Right. I think it is kind of nice that I've had friends over the years, particularly older friends, who in the past they had to go to Dartmouth for their cancer treatments, and one of the people who ended up losing his battle, I said, so how does that, I asked him, I said, how does it feel to go through chemotherapy? And he said, it feels, well, he said, have you ever been run over by an 18-wheeler? I says, no, I haven't. He said, well, then you wouldn't understand how it felt. And he says, then I have to drive all the way, I get a ride all the way home. Now, I do know that chemotherapy in the last 20 years has come a long ways. It's no bed of roses, but
it still takes a lot out of you.
Right. But don't you think that's a real asset? Because now we can go down to St. Johnsbury and get the radiation. So the Northeast Kingdom now seems to be pretty, we seem to be pretty well stocked on the needs of cancer patients.
Yes, we are definitely developing as far as that's concerned, and it's getting easier. It's never easy to begin with, but it's definitely a little bit. It lessens it a little bit than having to travel all the way to Dartmouth or to Fletcher Allen every time, where they can just go to the Norris Conn Cancer Center.
Right. Yeah, you get so many. And I'm friends with Dr. Lockridge, and so I've learned a lot about cancer from him. He was my father-in-law's doctor during the process.
Yeah.
Is that, cancer, even though you hear the word cancer,
which as soon as you hear that, you're a survivor.
Yeah, but when you hear it, though, it still scares the daylights out of you.
Yes.
But we've come so far in battling cancer now. Cancer is no longer automatically a death sentence. It weren't too many years ago that you heard the word cancer and you were pretty much filling out that will and getting ready to check out. Now, cancer, if you can't beat it, there's a lot of times that you can actually live with it with the proper treatment.
You can. Yep. That's where our funding goes, is for research and development, for trying to figure these things out.
Right. Yeah. Dr. Lockridge told me, he said, there is no more fascinating, interesting time to be in cancer research or a cancer doctor as now, because things are changing so fast now. Forms of cancer that were killing people left and right just a decade ago are now, if they're not being cured, they're at least being treated.
Exactly.
And
which is how we get our more birthdays.
Right. And so hopefully there's going to be someday, we probably won't see it, but we can hope is maybe someday there'll be no need for the Relay for Life because it's been cured.
I hope someday there will be, but then we'll have to find something else to fundraise for.
Okay, Candy, as I promised the viewers, we'd have our celebrity guest come on, the infamous Todd Peranto, the former morning show host of WMOO, but a long-term champion of Relay for Life.
Very true.
Welcome to the show, Todd.
Why, thank you. I don't know about celebrity, Scott, but
So tell me, we were talking about your heroes. We had, who was your hero? Was it your mother, Toby Keith, or Wayne Warner? In order.
In order? My mother, Wayne Warner, Toby Keith.
Are you saying Wayne outranks Toby?
To me, he does. Because I know him.
But Wayne's good though.
He's a great guy.
Wayne's a local boy who's really done well for himself, and you used to tour with him.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I did for about, I don't know, 6 months or so.
So it must have been kind of tough on him when he's going in that sleek bus and everybody's hollering out your name, though.
Oh, yeah,
down
that
in
happened
Nashville.
constantly, yeah.
Right. So, Todd, you've been involved in Relay for Life for years now. Why?
Well, I'd never even heard about it until early 2000s, when the radio station was contacted by whoever was the co-chair at the time. And I went to the event having just recently lost an ex-girlfriend of mine's father to colon cancer, and my grandfather to bone cancer. So it really struck a chord with me, and I've been involved ever since.
And you don't just, you've been a vocal supporter. In your previous role now as the Defrocked morning show host.
Yes,
when you used to really promote this, but then you don't just sit around at the event and you don't just walk, you entertain some.
Yeah, we actually don't get to walk as much as we'd like because we're up making announcements constantly and trying to keep people moving while we drink tons of coffee to keep ourselves going. Devaney has been with the Relay for Life since it started up here, and I don't. Do you know when that is?
It's been
a long time.
late teens, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Devaney's brush with cancer is even closer. She's been very open about losing her mother when Devaney was only 17 years old.
Yep.
So, and I know you still are great friends with her. And you know what? I think people wondered after you lost your show whether you would just disappear from the community. Well, you're here now you were here before as the...
Yeah, I've been here. Well,
but I think some people wondered, would you still do the Relay for Life?
Yeah.
And you both are going to be there.
Absolutely, yeah. We wouldn't miss it for anything.
So you and Devaney are going to be a team once again.
For one night only.
Well, for one night.
12 hours.
12 hours.
I don't know if I can make it another 12 hours with her.
Yeah. So are you looking forward to this year as much as you did the other years?
Yeah, actually, I wasn't on the committee this year, so I wasn't as involved. So I am, yeah. I think it'll be nice to just kind of show up and do our thing and see how the committee did everything, because we really don't have any idea what's going on.
Right. And and you know, we were talking about celebrities beforehand. Did you realize that Todd actually grew up kind of a celebrity? Did you know that?
I did not know that.
He was the son of the mayor of Newport.
Oh.
And so he's known how to draw crowds ever since he was a kid, because he really worked his father's
Draws them
fame.
good.
Yeah.
So,
I've been on stage since I was 5, I think. So.
ooh, I ran from stages. I to this day, you can take your stage, because if I ever sang, there'd be some awful unhappy people.
No, I think some people would enjoy it.
Oh no!
I would.
No! You better have a few beers.
Maybe you
underneath your
can
belt.
sing with Mark Shelton at the Relay for Life.
I was hoping you were going to switch it off at that point.
You got to admit is Mark's singing at it.
Yes.
You got to admit Mark is one of the great entertainers to come out of this area. That guy can sing Christian music, heavy metal. Like the guy,
He's got everything. Elvis.
he can do everything.
Yep.
Mark is just simply amazing.
Yep.
So we got you, we got Mark. Who else do we have?
My stepdaughter, Katie Lucas, is going to be singing the national anthem.
Cool.
And
I bet
we
you
have
she can
Paul
do
Mosher's playing bagpipes.
Now, who's that?
Paul Mosher,
Okay.
he's playing bagpipes.
That leaves you to do God Bless America.
Oh no. That would not happen.
Is that kind of like Roseanne saying national anthem?
I bet you your stepdaughter will do far better than some of these jokers who call
amazing.
themselves entertainers.
She is amazing.
Right. And does she get that from her stepmother?
No. No,
So-
she does not.
All right, we only have about 2 more minutes left. If somebody wants to contact the Relay for Life or learn more about it, how do they do it?
A great way would be to go onto the Facebook page, which is Northeast Kingdom Relay for Life. You could go on you can call, which is 802-872-6304. You can email kingdomrelay@yahoo.com. And you can go on to the website, which is relayforlife.org/Northeast Kingdom.
And I will thank Todd right now. Thank you for putting that up on the screen for the people.
Yeah, hey, it's amazing how I do it right from here, huh?
Right. Now, Todd, what about you? What are your last words?
I think this is going to be a special year for me because I get to do the Survivor Lap with my mother again this year.
Right.
Last year, she was in the hospital recovering from a surgery due to cancer during the Relay for Life. So last year, I was a little scatterbrained. So it's going to be a fun, more celebratory, is that a word? Celebratory time.
It is amazing, though, that when cancer really strikes home, it takes on a different, like, as I said, in my family, it's like a march of, just people kicking off due to a cancer. But this year has been a big year for us, and it's a little more real. And I think as you age, too, even though cancer does not discriminate with age,
Exactly.
you still, as you age, you get a taste of your mortality. And I know you're still a youngster, but
Well, not as young as I once was.
well. All right, one more time. The date of the event.
June 29th and 30th.
And it is at
It is at North Country Union High School on the track, and we encourage all survivors, everybody to come over and participate. Survivorship starts at 4 p.m. They get cake and they get T-shirts for survivors and caregivers, and it kicks off from there.
But really, anybody can take part. Because
Absolutely
there are
anybody.
some families that I've talked to who they cannot recall a case of cancer in their family, but they can still take part.
They certainly can. Everybody can give a little bit.
Right.
What's the theme this year, out of curiosity?
Heroes of Hope.
That's how we
right.
get to
You were
talking about
that
heroes.
earlier.
About your heroes.
I was busy down in the back room
Right.
on Facebook.
With Toby Keith.
Right.
Yeah, no, I was on Facebook for real.
What about, what about Willie Nelson? What do you think about Willie?
I love Willie.
Willie Nelson is a great American icon.
80, what is he,
80 years old.
80?
Yep, 80 years old. All right, well, maybe Willie will come up some year and
Hey, there you go.
perform.
Maybe.
So, all right, well, thank you both for coming on another segment of the Northeast Kingdom Voice. And thank you to the viewers for tuning in.